Welcome to Truth Juice, a place where we drink an incredible amount of juice. So sit back, put them little tootsies up and quench that thirst. So what's your Truth Juice, Aspen?
Well, actually, I've been thinking about it during this conversation, and you talked about I like when you made the comparison between the drug addict going to the doctor
Okay.
and the movie, and my thing is legalize drugs, all the drugs, man. legalize it all, man. No, okay. Not everything.
No, man,
almost everything.
If that's what I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Right? We should legalize. First of all, we should legalize cannabis, obviously, but that's on its way, and I think it's going to happen very soon, and it should happen.
Yeah.
If people who have any common sense will agree, right?
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then every single psychedelic that is available should be legalized, and especially for medical use.
Definitely.
But that's one of exactly. And I mean, have you watched those documentaries on Netflix about psychedelics? Like there's one Amazing Mushrooms, is that what it's called?
I don't know. I think I've seen that one. Is it about treating kind of like mental illness, like with psilocybin, the shit that's in mushrooms? Psilocybin, sorry. Yeah, man, like there's so much research that backs up and says that, you know, even to go down the path of CBD, you know, the medicinal, the non-high side of the plant, that's been proven. That an example, my girlfriend, she works with this woman anyway. This woman's friend, she's got a kid who's basically terminally ill, yeah, and her horrible story. Like, anyway, they took her to a specialist in London somewhere or some shit, and this doctor turned around and said, "Right, I'm going to prescribe you X amount of CBD. It's like a new idea," and she had like fits and tremors and, you know, like real bad. This kid was really ill anyway. Gave her the CBD. And within literally 20 minutes of this kid taking it, she didn't have a fit. She didn't have any seizures. She didn't have, I can't remember what it was now, but it was something, I think the seizures were going to end up killing her at some point because they were so bad, these seizures. And she hasn't had a seizure, no word of a lie, she hasn't had a seizure in I think like 4 months because she's been taking CBD. But yeah, sorry, I'm not taking away from what you were saying. I was just saying that there's obvious proof that drugs, are good for you, taken in the right way and at the right, you know, absolutely, man. Yeah. Have you ever done any sort of fucking
not any psychedelic, not any sort of psychedelic actually? Of course, I've smoked marijuana.
Yeah.
A couple of times. And also I did try spice when it was.
Oh, really? Fuck.
Yeah. I don't think that was a good choice, but
it's hardcore spice, man. Like the Manchester, like a city near us, the town centre is just filled with spice heads, you know, because people say it's like good when you're on it, but it's so addictive because it's a synthetic drug, in it. It's like a synthetic. It's not a real. But anyway, carry on. So why else do you think we should legalize? Are you talking kind of hard drugs? So you're talking like opium, all the you know the base drugs of hard drugs, so like opium, you know, like cocaine, all that kind of shit.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Exactly. Because I don't think that. And I mean, you could focus on like the even heavier drugs instead, heroin, for example, shit like that, you know. And it's like people who want these drugs, people who want drugs are going to get them anyway. If you don't know somebody, then that somebody knows somebody, and if that person doesn't know somebody, then they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So you can always get a hold of drugs. And one of the arguments that I've read, especially when it comes to cannabis, but I'm sure this applies to many other drugs as well, is that, you know, the police are saying that they need to keep cannabis, for example, legalized so they can get to the heavier drugs, right?
That doesn't make sense.
And it doesn't, it doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, that's all you're ridiculous. Doing is arresting 16-year-olds for having like a gram of marijuana or two on them, right? And it's like you could take all of those resources that you invest in grabbing these kids and use them for getting the heavier drugs, and people wouldn't have to go to jail or pay fines for marijuana usage or fucking cocaine for that matter. But it's just
no, you're right, man. No, you're absolutely right, man. I remember when I was a kid, I got caught smoking a joint in like a phone box in a phone booth by a policeman. And this policeman came over and he like told me off, and I went, oh, and he actually said to me, you need to stop this because this leads to, you know, hard drugs. And I was like, and for days after I was like, but how? Like, how? If I wanted, I hate when people say cannabis is a gateway drug. That is absolute fucking bullshit, man.
Right. It's so tired. It's such a tired argument.
It's bullshit. The amount of people I know or have known that, you know, are on crack, right? And I've spoke to them. How did you start crack? Well, you know, I got, it's a horrible story usually. You know, I got abused or something happened. I lost someone and I thought, fuck it. I'm going to go do the hardest drug I can find because I can't fucking deal with it anymore. It wasn't, I started smoking weed and I just needed a bigger high. It was never that. Trust me, you can get fucking incredibly high by smoking enough weed. You know what I mean? You can. Sure, I've had conversations with people in the room that aren't there smoking weed. You know, like I've tripped balls on weed. So the argument that cannabis is a gateway drug is fucking stupid. And yet we sit there and say it, and then we'll go into a pub or a bar and we'll buy alcohol and we'll drink ourselves into oblivion, fight on the streets, do crazy shit. But that's fine. But not people who smoke weed and sit there and just watch fucking, I don't know, Netflix.
Yeah.
Like,
and eat.
Yeah. Right. like who, name one person who's high who wants to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never wanted to fight. The last thing I want to do is have any form of confrontation when I'm high. You know, it's usually like, you know, like, should we get some food? Yeah, let's get some food. What do you want? And then that would be the conversation for 3 hours because you're so high. You know what I mean? Like, no stoner. I'm sure there is stoners who've probably done horrendous shit. But what I mean is like, I know for me, and I know a lot of people who smoke weed, they never smoke weed and then just want to stab someone, or they never want to go and rob a bank, or they never want to go and rape someone, or they never want to fight someone. Like,
no,
it's fucking
just so much bullshit.
Yeah. But I mean, do you believe that it's because of the amount of money that the police get, you know, the amount of government grants and stuff that the police get for the war on drugs is why they need to, you know, why they want to actually keep it?
I mean, possibly. I definitely believe that it contributes a lot to their statistics. The police, like, oh, this is how many arrests we made on you know, drug abuse or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose if you take that away, that away, it kind of, it'll probably show what the police are actually doing.
Yeah.
You know, like how many actual, and don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing any police people. All I'm saying is the ratio of, I don't know, fucking rapists getting caught compared to the people who are getting arrested for drug offenses is so out of fucking whack, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. I just think maybe it's a conspiracy theory, but I think that if they did legalize all the drugs, it'd show the police for what they actually do. You know, because
I think so. You know, I mean, you're probably onto something, and I actually think that most conspiracy theories have some truth to them, possibly at least some truth to them.
Yeah,
and that is, and I think there are multiple conspiracy theories when it comes to drugs that are probably true to some extent. Like, for example, and then you also have the medical industry. Like, if marijuana was legalized, oh my God, they would lose so much fucking money. And then if psilocybin was legalized, imagine that, because there are people who take like one pill of psilocybin and then get rid of their fucking depression for 6 months straight, or get rid of their PTSD.
Yeah. It's so like it's funny because for the past 3 or 4 months, I watched a documentary on YouTube. It was I can't remember what it was called. It's all the multicolored one. It was all like really weird shit. Anyway, I'll remember the name and send it to you. But
yeah,
and same thing. And like I suffer pretty bad from like fucking like, well, I've got like OCD, so I get like obsessive thoughts and shit. And I was watching it, and some guy on there was saying he had really bad OCD, and he took psilocybin. He microdosed. You know, you can like take tiny little bits of whatever. And he said he is, you know, his intrusive thoughts are no longer there. Everything's more fun. Like, he's not high, you know, like he's you know, he can function perfectly fine. But he said it's brought back joy into his life rather than spending all his time inside here. You know, he's kind of enjoying conversations more. And, you know, so since then, I've been tempted, you know, trying microdose. And I found somewhere online that sells capsules of psilocybin, quite low doses, you know, for microdosing. So I think I'm going to try it, I think, just because, like you say, man, like, you know, the evidence speaks for itself. And you're right. The drug companies, especially the antidepressants, and I'm only doing that because I don't personally believe, I've been on every antidepressant going, man, and shit. And they don't really do anything. They just mask a problem that will never go away unless you address it. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. The drug companies will lose billions, man. Absolute fucking billions.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting that you say that they only, they sort of suppress. I mean, they don't get rid of the issue, but they suppress the feelings that arise because of the issue.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And what psilocybin and those, what pretty much every single psychedelic out there is doing is rewiring the broken sort of circuits in the brain.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah.
And basically fixing the issues without any therapy, you know. At least that's the consensus. Is that
yeah
so,
that's right,
so far anyway.
Yeah, well, I think as well, like when you do some good shit, I think it makes you, for me anyway, I've only ever done mushrooms once when I was young, but I didn't take that many to kind of really have an effect, but it did have an effect. But I remember going home and putting on some like blues CD, just some random blues CD, you know, like brown, proper old school, you know, like proper 1940s shit.
Oh shit!
But I heard it in a completely different way. Yeah. You know, like my mind was just not understanding everything, but I heard it. And it sounds cliche, you know, when people say I heard it or saw it for the actual first time. That's what it felt like, you know. And for like days after that, probably weeks after that, I was kind of having an inner dialogue with myself, but it wasn't an unhealthy dialogue. You know, I wasn't berating myself. I was understanding my thought process more. So like if I was getting anxious, I'd be like, right, you're getting anxious because of this. It's all right. And then I think maybe that's what as well psychedelics do. They kind of make you reflect, but in a positive way. You know, you don't beat yourself up. You don't kind of obsess about it. You just kind of understand, you know, because most people with mental health issues do have mental health issues because of a problem, like something, usually not all the time, something that happens, some sort of trauma or something that's happened in the past. Yes. And they've carried it with them, but they've never realized they've carried it with them. So I think what, in my opinion, like psychedelics and drugs, they make you understand why you act like this, you feel like this because of this, or, you know. And I just think, and so does, it sounds hippie as fuck, but like meditation, man, I meditate.
Oh yeah. You
know, do you meditate as well?
Oh yeah.
Do you? Oh, nice.
Yeah. I try to, and you're definitely right there. And it has also been proven that it pretty much gives meditation gives a weaker effect well, it gives the same effect as these psychedelics, but it's just on a lower scale.
Yeah.
And that is definitely the case. Like, if you do a mindfulness, like mindfulness meditation.
Yeah, I try to do mindfulness meditation, but what I like doing is the Wim Hof method. Have you ever done the breathing?
Yeah. I've heard of it, but I've not done it.
You need to try it, man. Honestly, like, I think one of these podcasts we should go away, try it or something, because I haven't done it in a couple of weeks. Try it for a week and just see what you think, because you trip balls, mate. You fucking but in a good way, because you're in control of it. As soon as you want to come out of it, you just let go of your breath and you're back to normal. But you're right. You know, like meditation, I think it's called, like, is it tantric breathing or is that sexual breathing? I don't know. One of them, you know, like breathing patterns and stuff.
Yeah.
There's ways of, because DMT, I only know this because of one of Joe Rogan's podcasts. There was a scientist on there. DMT is actually already in our bodies. DMT, they think, is responsible for dreaming. They think, they're not sure, but they think. So there's tiny amounts of it. So when you breathe and you get yourself into a relaxed state, your brain thinks in a way that it's going into a dream. So that's why when you get into a deep meditation, you know, sometimes you get into a deep meditation, you just start seeing colors and weird things, or do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's because your brain is slowly thinking, oh, I'm going into a dream now, so I best kind of close down reality a bit. So it's interesting shit, man. Like, but yeah, at some point, check out the Wim Hof method.
The Wim Hof method.
Yeah, man.
Actually, I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget this.
You'll love it, man. Honestly, it's intense. The first time you do it, it's fucking intense, man. But it's so good.
Hof method. There it is.
Yeah. And there's loads of guided YouTube things. But yeah, I don't want to say it'd change your life, but I feel like it can definitely add, you know, to, you know, like if you're doing like meditation and stuff like that, you know, I think there's definitely something to it, man. And cold exposure as well, you know, like fucking ice baths and shit like that. That shit's, I love that shit, man. In the morning, you know, the mornings where you're feeling like, fuck everyone, can't be arsed with the world, everyone's a cunt. I jump into an ice bath, and while you're in there, your brain just goes, no, we don't have time for all this shit. What I'm concentrating on now is keeping this dude alive, you know, like going into almost fight or flight mode. And the reason I started doing it is because it's been said that the more you expose yourself to extreme heats or extreme colds, it triggers the fight or flight response. And then when you come out of that fight or flight response, anything during the day which would usually trigger the fight or flight response, as in stuff inside your head or internal things, doesn't really affect you anymore, because your body now knows when to actually trigger the fight or flight response. So it's kind of adapting your body. So it's good shit, man. But saying that, if you're in Sweden, I'm guessing your winters are pretty hardcore, man. Like, do you have snow and shit?
Actually not around Stockholm, not these
really
days,
okay
anyway.
Right, yeah.
No, sadly not. I wish we had those winters.
Yeah, because in my head it was like, you know, what film is it now? Is it called Let the Right One In? I think it's like a Danish horror film. Anyway,
it's Swedish. It's Swedish.
It's Swedish, yeah. Okay, right, yeah. In my head, you know, when you said you're in Sweden, I was like, it's proper snowy. You know, like awesome. You know what I mean? It'd be cool, man. But yeah, definitely do it well, man. Because let me know what you think. But what were we originally? What were we talking about?
Legalizing drugs.
Legalizing drugs, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So how would you go about? We only have 7 minutes, so we might have to do another one. How would you go about kind of implementing the legalization of drugs? Because you couldn't just say all drugs are legal, because obviously there'd be just a fucking pandemonium. Like, would you tax it? Do you know what I mean? Like, would all drugs be legal? You know, would there have to be an age? Obviously, an age thing, I'm guessing. You know, like little things like that. Like, how would you? You know, how would you do it?
Okay, I'm gonna start with the heavy drugs here. I'm gonna say cocaine, just cocaine. It's a party drug. I mean, that one, you could have some sort of license, perhaps, that says that you can get that. They check your mental health. They check that you're
that's good.
something like that. I don't know exactly what would go into.
No, that's good. So you're thinking anyone who wants to partake in the cocaine or some hard drug has to go through a psychological evaluation before they do it. I think that's an awesome idea, man. I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, sitting there cooking up some genius stuff. Jesus.
Yeah, man. So what next? You've done cocaine.
Yeah. I'm gonna say now I'm gonna take all the psychedelics. And I would say first and foremost, I think it obviously it all needs to happen in steps, right? But with the psychedelics, first and foremost, do it so that they can use psilocybin or MDMA or whatever it is for medical purposes.
Yeah.
Start and more studies need to happen.
Yeah.
And eventually, and more things need to be written about it. People need to know about it, and then eventually you make it a thing, like a common thing. What's it called when it's
like a prescribed,
exactly. It's a common practice, and I'm not sure if it maybe legalize that, but for a controlled environment, because often when people trip and they get like a bad trip, it's because they're not in the right mind state, or they're in an uncontrolled, unsafe, weird environment.
That's exactly it, man. Yeah.
So maybe you could have like rooms or something, or like
cool,
companies, right? Specialized.
Man. That'd be cool. Like a trip room. You just go in, there's lots of awesome lights and shit, and you're just like, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Just
some nice tea.
That,
that'd be cool. Yeah. That's a really good
trip
idea.
Rooms.
Yeah, man. Hey, mate, we have got some good. We've got the fat maze.
Yeah.
You've got trip rooms. Somehow, at some point, we need to think of a way to mold them together.
This is cheap. Yeah.
A tripping.
Oh, I know.
Go on.
Give the fat people a bunch of cocaine while they're in the maze.
That's a good idea. They'll lose weight. They'll definitely lose weight that way. That's good, man. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and then you can put all the tripping people in with the fat people. No, that'd be horrible, actually. That wouldn't be fun. No, that wouldn't be fun.
that would end up really bad.
That'd be the worst experience. Seems at 1 minute you're like talking to God, and then you open your eyes and you just see some fat American sweating. You're just like, oh my God. Like,
oh, Jesus, please, no.
Yeah. In your head, it's like Gollum or someone. It's like horrible shit. Fuck
exactly.
me. So, in cannabis, would it just be just legal, completely legal? No.
I think, you should be able to go and buy just like you buy cigarettes today. 100%. It should be 100% legal. Yeah, exactly. It's just so fucking ridiculous that it's still illegal. It's stupid, and every single argument against it is just dumb. There's nothing else to say about the matter. Like,
well, I think it's stigma as well, isn't it? People have a stigma, Oh, he's a druggie. It's like,
yeah, exactly. And this got me thinking to what you told me about the kid, right? That with the
CBD.
With the CBD, exactly. And that's what people, or some people would think when they hear something like that or read about something like that. Oh, you're giving the kids drugs. And
it's right, but it's crazy because we've always given children drugs, bad drugs. Like every painkiller is derived from opium, which is heroin.
Exactly.
But
can you believe that? Like, holy shit.
But that's all right. That's okay. But a plant which does nothing but chill you out and relax you and get rid of pain, that's not okay. It's just completely fucking irrational. So what would you do about alcohol? Because alcohol is, in my opinion, probably the worst drug of them all, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? I would keep it as it is. But I would like for marijuana to be seen as the drug in between nicotine, perhaps even before nicotine. But I'm gonna say in between nicotine and alcohol. Yeah, alcohol, somewhere in between there, instead of the other way around. That it's we got the tobacco with nicotine, and then you got the alcohol, and then you got marijuana, and then
yeah,
it should be the other way around, definitely.
Yeah, I think like, because that's the go-to, isn't it? People go to, you know, let's meet up, let's have a beer, let's meet up. It's never let's meet up and drop some acid. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There's never that. And if I said that to someone, come on, let's meet up and do some mushrooms, they'd be like, you fucking druggie. Oh, he's a druggie.
Yeah.
You know, which is just fucking absolutely fucking ridiculous. Because I know for a fact I'd rather be around someone who smokes weed than an alcoholic. Definitely.
Oh my God.
Definitely. 100%. Do you know what I mean? The guy or person smoking weed, it might get a bit annoying because you're talking to them and they might start drifting off because they're thinking about, I don't know, life or something.
Yeah.
But at least the nice people to be around are relaxed, you know. An alcoholic is a fucking horrible person to be around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's awful.
So yeah, I think we're pretty much solved 2 of the world's problems there, man.
I think so too. We have performed a miracle here today.
Easy. The thing is, I think what people don't understand is how easy this is for us. You know, like solving world problems. Just